This week on Hermitcraft.
Like, you really don't see me?
No.
What?
And that's why you don't let your doors run out of power. Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is Pixel Riffs, our writer is ZloyXP, and this is the calm before the storm, in which we wait for 2019 to arrive and provide us with prank wars to talk about. But for now, the showdown is on hold, at least until the ball drops. So let's take a last look at the Hermitcraft server before it is annihilated by a rogue TNT blast over TFC's vault.
I can't help it, I'm sorry. I did nothing!
Starting with a little bit of time travel we couldn't mention last week because it didn't appear in anyone's videos. The G-Team meeting right before the armistice announcement. Grian, Cleo, Jevin, Iskall, Joe Hills, Stress, and 2 Tangos apparently stopped by at Iskall's war room to officialize the alliance and decide on a team name.
The G-Team. Everyone here has a G in their name. Grian, Tango. See? It all works, right? Iskall, Zombie Gleo.
Grian even works on a room for their headquarters later this week in his now trademark style of white walls and giant letters. Another thing worth mentioning is that, due to some admin-side voodoo hiccup, the nether of the server has large chunks of the end terrain floating about, with chunks of it looking even more corrupted than usual. We don't have the hard facts from anyone in an admin position, but the consensus seems to be that this is in fact not intentional, and that they'll be restoring the Dimensions and Doc's Enderman farm from a backup. And while we're answering Grian's fanbase's questions, the crashed spaceship he found in a jungle is the one that Cub and Scar, or rather their convex counterparts, arrived to the server on. You can see more about that in the Week 4 recap or on their own channels. And the supercomputer in the Poultry Cave was built by a Zoomer last week. In the meantime, Christmas!
From the Grianch to Murderous Axeman, Merry Christmas.
With no war to wage for now, many hermits stopped by and either helped or at least admired the server's bustling holiday district. Impulse and Tango, for a start, resumed their roles as professional monster wranglers and successfully tricked a class of zombie kids into working in their teddy bear factory.
How close is he?
He's pretty close.
Oh, he's very close. Oh my gosh.
Through the magic of armor stands and redstone, you can see the whole process of them chasing an unfinished toy across the assembly line, which is kind of the opposite of how conveyor lines work. But hey, it's your fault for employing children. Zombie Cleo uses her classroom of tiny terrors in a different way. Her baby armor stands, equipped with hermit heads, are now stuck reenacting the nativity scene on the level of preschoolers, snotty noses and acting skills included.
People handing over their tissue to the people with the nosebleed, and there's a little cow costume I think is really cute.
At least they aren't at risk of burning anything down, unlike Joe Hills, whose Christmas baubles are filled with lava. Of course, with the fire tick turned off on the server, they'll just provide nice twinkly tree decorations, but considering how fast Christmas trees burn IRL, it's still a little scary. Not as scary as the star on top of the tree, which seems to be a little bit melty.
That is a Christmas proto-star that's in the process of forming.
Cubfan and False Symmetry both claim and build up their parts of the mini-golf course, which is sadly still not enough for the whole course to be finished before New Year, but still might be a nice spot for a winter vacation. In his own time, Cubfan opens a melon store in the Derp Mall where you can buy the stuff in bulk, plus get free seeds and free cactus. Plus, you can now finally visit Concorp through the official entrance into the restricted area. All you have to do is get a sheep to stay blue, which is not much of a puzzle until you factor in Mr. Woololo dyeing it back red every time you're not looking. It's not even the only time Cub dealt with illagers this week, as the quest he left for Impulse as a Secret Santa gift did involve a Vindicator. Impulse, when tasked with saving Christmas from an axe murderer, did everybody a favor and killed the guy in 2 hits, then stole all the coal blocks the axe murderer had received that year, gave a quick tour of his house, and returned the festive log to its rightful place. So I guess we can all thank Impulse for Christmas actually happening this year. In return, he got enough fireworks to freeze his FPS for a few seconds, and a lifetime membership to the Concorp Country Club. And Impulse got to pay it forward this year after pulling Grian's name out of the Secret Santa sled. Putting aside their prank war allegiances for the time being, Impulse fixes Grian's side of the Grian Mumbo messaging system, which had been broken when the inbox was relocated, and even adds the Blues Clues mail song to tell Grian he's got something waiting for him.
That is great.
As a final cherry on top, and also a solid test of the system, he drops a couple of stacks of emerald blocks into the hopper before he leaves. This, of course, came in right on time to make it harder for Grian to ignore incoming complaints from Mumbo Jumbo, because a certain poultry person definitely has not built an automatic base egging contraption at Mumbo's base, and said contraption definitely won't spawn enough chickens to lag out Mumbo's base over time. As if Mumbo isn't doing a great job lagging it out himself. In the meantime, Grian pokes some decorative holes in the ring around his base and fills them with some decorative glass, making his base look even more futuristic. The parrots he brought back from his spaceship trip get their own green foresty room too, so that's nice and pleasant. What's neither, when you think about it, is the present he left for Iskall, since the Secret Santa machine rightfully decided that he'd been naughty this year. He's only 2 seasons late for the diorite jokes.
Grian? Isn't it supposed to be Secret Santa, by the way?
But when Iskall can bring himself to tear open the lump of diorite, he finds a shulker box waiting for him inside, so everything's fine, we're all still bros here. The rest of Iskall's week is spent preparing for the coming prank-pocalypse, which includes bringing a few villagers to his and Stress Monster's lab, and teaching them to breed in case they need to repopulate the Earth later. Stress Monster herself proves a more difficult person to gift for, if only because having pulled her name from the Santa hat, False can't catch a time when she's not on the server. Utilizing some extreme ninja tactics, she does drop a present at Stress's base after all, and doesn't even break a sweat when she has to meet up with Stress to buy some blaze rods like 2 minutes later. This gives someone plenty of time to catch False's shulker boxes unattended and donate them back to her own adoption agency. Thankfully, she gets plenty of new ones from Jevin, as his Secret Santa gift after his tour of the Christmas district results in him pulling her name out of the dispenser-shaped hat. They're not so different after all, Jevin working on his underwater ravine apartment again, and False deciding that decorative waterlogging is just what the fairy pirate cove needed for an entrance. So by not so different, we of course mean they're both soaking wet and probably have hypothermia. Stress Monster catches up to her Secret Santa present on Christmas Day and is pretty happy with the contents.
God! Look at this gift!
Having already delivered her present for Cub last week, Stress has time to get some serious work done on the Ice Queen fort, building a cathedral on top with her beacon shining through it, and terraforming some icebergs out of thin air to blend the base of the structure into its surroundings, which turns the area underneath it into a death trap, but hey, it's progress. With the Treat Your Chick shop pulling in business, Stress decides to double down on the server's apparent obsession with chickens and builds an automatic chicken cooker right next door, which is actually kind of brutal when you think about it.
Enjoy!
Finally, she buys up all of Python's chorus growing kits from the Shulkerbox shop and starts a micro-chorus farm in the laboratory she shares with Iskall. Mumbo's attention is also on chorus plants this week, although he's got some slightly more technical plans courtesy of Redstone Santa Claus Il Mango. With that on hold for now, Mumbo returns to his own snowy biome and decides it's too dangerous having an unlit area in his base, so he harvests a bunch of snow blocks, drops in some end rods, and kidnaps a polar bear for good measure. He has a little too much fun getting it up the water elevator. And that's not the only creatures he gets splashy with this week. After deciding one of his offshore islands needs its own population, Mumbo drops by Impulse's base and asks to borrow a few villagers to start a breeder.
My name's Iskall, and this is me doing a British accent. Arsenal.
TFC takes a dip back into the technical side of his base this week, looping his kelp auto-smelter into the storage system so he can craft kelp blocks and channel them directly into the iron and gold smelting system. Realizing he'd use the same furnace array for the precious metals as well, he redesigns the whole thing to distribute fuel evenly and run more efficiently. Although it's a good thing he's not sick of hoppers yet, because that's a lot of hoppers. Technical projects also abound in Doc M's final video of the year, having reached a full stack of episodes so far this season. Doc's 64th episode sees him touring all the projects he's worked on so far. Cast a nostalgic eye back over Phantom Run, marvel at the redstone wonders of the stock exchange, be impressed by the speed of his Enderman farm.
No.
Well, hopefully that's nothing a server backup can't fix. Joe Hills was in dire need of backups too, since his footage of the Civil War meeting, jokes and all, has gone AWOL on a malfunctioning PC. Still, the Christmas spirit kicked in, and Joe decides to give the gift of free real estate, presenting Azuma with the deed to the now defunct Halloween store once he can actually find X's base.
A Halloween store in January? What? Isn't that just a ripoff of BoJack Horseman? Yeah, it is, but it's funny. Isn't that right, Bat Joe Hills?
We don't know what X plans to do with the space, but he won't even have to clear out the cobwebs. Joe's done that for him. And finally there's Azuma, although not exactly on the Hermitcraft server. Well, not the current one, at least. Taking it upon himself to Ghost of Christmas Past It, he shows Scar and Cub the Season 3 map of Hermitcraft and takes a long, in-depth tour of all the amazing things the group got up to back then.
Is this a truly working bouncy castle?
Yeah, you can get on there.
Oh my gosh!
Whether you're a long-time Hermit fan or have never seen that season, it's a neat trip for the whole family, with a double feature of the other world tours Cub, Scar and Azuma have recorded this week. For our final recap tag of the year, since Zloy is away celebrating New Year with his family and I'm the one editing the video this week, it might be my only chance to get revenge on him for tagging me all those weeks ago. So head to his latest video, the one linked in the iCards and the description, and comment "Ha New Year." The video's about villagers, so trust me, it'll make sense. And that's just about it for this year's recap. Our writer is ZloyXP and my name is Pixel Riffs. If Santa Claus brought you a copy of Minecraft this year, you might need my survival guide series. The links to the latest episodes are in the end screen theatre. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Happy holidays, and we'll see you next week.